What's up, guys and gals? It is time for the latest piece of One Piece. Chapter 1131. We are back from the break, and it is entitled Loki in the Underworld. Now, before we get underway with this one, I will give you a fair warning, is that it is November 11th. November 11th is Remembrance Day in Canada, and it's the day we honor all our veterans for being able to do things like sit at home and make YouTube videos about manga here in the West, so we definitely are extraordinarily thankful, and as a result, about halfway through the video, or maybe at the end, but I think the halfway point, I'm going to do my own moment of silence, just so we're clear, just a fair warning, but I'm letting you know that it's going to take place, because like everyone else who wears a poppy, which of course mine is on my coat, upstairs, I do honor our veterans every year, So, anyways, that out of the way, let's talk 1131, because right out of the gate, after I read this chapter, I went on Reddit, and this was only yesterday, and I went on Reddit, and I saw this theory, and I swear, I saw this theory, and they were cooking, even the comments, like, they were cooking and stuff, and it had to do with Loki, it had to do with Shanks, it had to do with something. And then, I got busy doing other things, completely forgot what the theory was, and now am scratching my head going, where is it? So I spent about a good half hour before starting this review video trying to find that theory to bring it to all of you, because I was like, yeah, he is cooking. Whoever wrote this theory is cooking. This is a good theory. I wanted to bring it up here, and I completely forgot it. That does not mean it wasn't a memorable theory. What that means is that I have a bad memory. I'm old. So it is what it is. But anyways, this chapter itself, pretty good chapter. We're still following the cover serial with Yamato and stuff like that. Now they're on their way to try to find the sword thief and stuff like that, with Speed and everyone and stuff. So we're continuing that, right? We open up the chapter proper with Luffy, being like, yeah, woohoo, like completely ignoring what Loki said about destroying the world and stuff last chapter, and he's just like, yeah, we finally made it to Elbaf. Like, this is great. We've been wanting to go here for ages, which is true. Ever since Little Garden, ever since they met Dory and Bragi, they've been wanting to reach Elbaf. So it's like, yeah, everything is so huge here. This is awesome. And Loki's like, oh. Well, good. So, by the way, he's like, I wonder if Usopp will figure out when he gets up here. Like, this is great. He's like, hey, wait a minute. The most powerful nation in the world. I mean, shucks, gee willikers, mister. I love your island already. And I've only been here for 5 seconds. So, Luffy just keeps talking. Over-talking Loki. Loki's just getting more and more ticked off and stuff. He's like, I can't believe this. Like, there's so many giants. They're supposed to be the strongest. They're one of the armies. It reminds everyone, and after I watched Tekken 101's review, it's true. It's like, all of the... If you're not under, technically, a Yonko territory, not saying that some aren't, but just in proper island form, if you're not part of the world government, there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? So, Wano and Elbaf have this very much in common, where both of their armies, like the samurai, are considered very dangerous. If they were ever to mobilize on Wano, that's a dangerous force that the Marines can't just go in and take what they want. Similar, regardless of the fact that Kaido was there, the samurai as a force are very dangerous, very deadly. They're an army that is not to be taken lightly. Elbaf is considered to be the strongest army in the One Piece world. And if they were to mobilize, that's the thing. So there's been theories about this being Shanks' territory. Clearly, it would have been nobody else's. Currently. None of the current emperors, or none of the former ones, would have laid claim to this island. If it is considered a Yonko territory, I would argue it would have been either Shanks or Whitebeard. Nobody else. You know what I mean? So, if it is a Yonko territory, it's likely right now Shanks. But I do have my doubts that it is. I really don't think. I think Elbaf is just its own sovereign nation, and we're here finally in an island that we waited for so long. So this is where Loki's just fed up with being overtalked. He's like, I'm the sun god, destroyer of worlds. I'm everything. Bow down before me, pirate. Wait, he's not listening at all, is he? Hey, I am talking here. And that's when, of course, the big shout reverberates through the wasteland, through, whatever this is supposed to be, Helheim. Well, is it Helheim's the cold realm or whatever? Anyway, Nibelheim. Anyways, so he's obviously in the Frost Giants area sort of idea, right? Or the representation of that. And so this startles a lot of the creatures and stuff like that. And we get the title card. Loki. Special government bounty of 2.6 billion. Okay. So let's quickly talk about this one. Because, first off, 2.6 billion. Sorry for the cut there. Just had a couple recording issues and glitches, ladies and gentlemen. But talking about Loki, we're still on the special government bounty of 2.6 billion berries. Now, a lot of people are going to sneeze this one off. A lot of people are just going to say 2.6. Really, really, really? Okay. There's a few reasons for this. Number one, it's special. Now, why is it special? That's my question. Don't look at the number of 2.6, which, once again, we're still into the billions. I mean, yeah, it's not as much as the Yonko. It's not as much as the Fleet Admiral. It's not as much as Mihawk. However, you also have to take into account that these bounties are made to say that this person is actively the most dangerous, has a lot of danger. Just look at Robin as a child. Robin had an extremely high bounty for a little girl, just because her knowledge, what was up here and what she might say, was that detrimental to the world government. So let's just take that into consideration. When they assign the bounty numbers, it's not about, once again, part of it is strength, part of it is danger and stuff, but the main criteria for when they really say, no, we want this person found and brought to us, is generally speaking, and accepted by most of the well-read YouTubers and longtime fans, has been the number represents how much of a threat they are to the world government as a whole, right? Not necessarily the destructive capabilities, not necessarily because they're out there causing mayhem, not because they're evil or good-natured or whatever. It's all about how much of a problem will they be or can they become to us, the Gorosei, right? That's what it is. I mean, I would argue if Shanks, for the last 6 years of becoming a Yonko, had gone out and caused Blackbeard-level mayhem, Shanks' bounty being below 5 billion would not be outside of the realm of possibilities by the time we got to this point in the story, right? He's got a very acceptable bounty, over 4 billion. But he's not out there. And once again, and Kaido technically has been quite thus a big mom. What have they done? They have their territories. They rule their seas. But what have they, even in the 2-year time skip, what did they actively do that was hurting the world government to its core? That's why they don't have bounty increases. Bounty increases happen when a major power shift happens and the government doesn't know what's going to happen next, and it's scary. But it also happens when pirates like Blackbeard come out of the woodwork and start actually causing a whole worldwide power shift. So 2.6 billion stuck on an island, chained to a tree with, it is confirmed to be sea stone, likely by Shanks. Shanks is probably the big reason that it happened, and this is probably why a lot of people have already made this theory, and I'm going to stand by it until proven otherwise. Loki was chained to this tree 6 years ago. Shanks became a Yonko 6 years ago, and this bounty is a special government bounty of 2.6 billion for, once again, likely due to the fact that Loki does have a legendary devil fruit. Something so dangerous that if unleashed would be worthy of billions of problems. Billions of berries of problems for the world government. Most giants do not leave Elbaf. And for the longest time, from what we understand, until Loki killed his father, the king, King Harald, and obtained this legendary devil fruit, the devil fruit remained in Elbaf. So just like a Yonko, Kaido contained to Wano, Shanks not causing shit, just roaming doing his thing, don't attack my friends, and we're, in the stalemate level that they are, there's no reason to increase or actively go after them. If we have reached this stalemate compromise that as long as you don't step over the line, I'm not going to step over the line, that it's a very thin line, but it's just this power dynamic line, right? So what all this adds up to say is that what I believe is that Loki, a lot of people are saying that Shanks found the fruit, like the Gumma Gumma no Mi, the Nika no Mi here in Elbaf. It would make sense. Sun God fruit, etc. Worshipped by the giants, legendary, all that fun jazz. The problem is that doesn't match up with the Who's tale of events. How they got attacked and the fruit was stolen from their ship by Shanks. So we can dismiss that theory that I've seen a couple of people, but they tend to forget that marker, is that Shanks didn't have the fruit, then it was stolen, then it was recovered. Who's Who found the fruit, Shanks stole it from them. So I doubt that's the case. What I do accept here is that Loki obviously did eat this legendary devil fruit, believes himself to be the sun god, that's confirmed in now 2 chapters, but this special bounty was given due to the fact, and the title of Yonko was given to Shanks 6 years ago by helping stop Loki from entering outside of Elbaf, for causing what Dragon and Blackbeard and everyone else is trying to do. Loki was stopped by Shanks. The government found out. However, they found out how dangerous this guy was. Maybe Shanks told the Gorosei, listen, I want to talk to you about a certain pirate. 6 years ago, he probably said, listen, I want to talk to you about a certain giant. And this giant was Loki. And he helped subdue him, chain him up. 6 years ago, he was granted the title of Yonko, the bounty of 2.6 billion after the Gorosei was told exactly what power Loki had and what he intended to do with it were he ever released. It was giving a special government bounty because he is A, not a pirate, and B, he's technically subdued. He's in an impel down in Elbaf. He's literally in a cold hell. But we should still issue this special bounty. We're making an exception to not only just pirates, we're making an exception to this giant specifically, who has done, so far, not done anything wrong to the world government, but if he were released, they need a wanted poster, right? So that's what I'm going off of here. That's all my theory crafting, is that Shanks helped the giants subdue Loki after he ate this legendary fruit. Shanks is so powerful, his hockey's so good, he managed to help them in chaining up Loki and preventing world catastrophe. 6 years ago, it not only granted him the title of Yonko, but after being informed of what happened on Elbaf, whether by Morgans, whether Shanks told them, whether whoever found out, point is that a government bounty was issued for Loki just in case the worst should happen and he should ever get out. A lot of people are too focused on the 2.6 billion and being like, well, Kid and Law and Luffy and Blackbeard, all these guys have more. If this guy can end the world, why doesn't he have, like, the man who could end the world before, who could destroy the world, Whitebeard, had over 5 billion? Why is Loki only got 2.6, lower than any Yonko, lower than the world's greatest swordsman? Once again, it's a special bounty, I believe, special indicating that it's issued knowing that he's already captured. And he's locked up, and there should be no way for him to ever escape. So as a result, he's not active, right? Sort of like a frozen bounty from a warlord, if you will. The warlords, while still a great threat, their bounties won't go up and they will stay frozen because they are now no longer a threat to the world government as far as they knew, right? So that's been the big discussion thing so far, and that's my take on it. All the details, 1, 2, 3, right? So going off of that, he remarks once again, I am the sun god in the legends of this land. You will not speak without my permission. And he's talking, answer me, what do you make of my situation? And Luffy just, well, you're chained to a tree. Yeah, yes, but no man chooses to be, like, Luffy, as we know, is a beloved dumbass, and Loki is trying to coerce him. Coercion is 99% of the time, unless it involves meat, will not work on Luffy. So, we're going to see where this leads, but either way, he goes, but I was not chosen to be chained. I'm no exception. I would rather be free. I've been here for 6 years. And Luffy's like, 6 years? He goes, I consider it to be the strongest in all of Elbaf. But right now, the jewel tree atom, what the sunny is made out of. So it did come from the world tree. Well, they call it the jewel tree, but the world tree atom, the wood from the world tree atom, it's a lot of people thought this for many, many years. It's confirmed here that the world tree in Elbaf is the atom. Is the atom tree, the big tree, and it's the one that, allows them to harness. It's got the best wood in the world. So you make a ship out of that. It's the best wood. Okay, cool, right? Now, how did Frankie even order this shit? Like, who was doing that stuff? Who knows? I mean, it's obviously a very sacred tree, but I'm sure the giants are still craftsmen, tradesmen, and stuff, and maybe for the last couple 100 years they have been trading away some of their wares for the sake of it. Like, how did Seastone get off of Wano? Same idea, right? So, either way, he mentions that the chains are made of sea prism stone. They robbed me of my strength and stuff, and he seems okay. And Luffy's just chilling. Luffy's just chilling there. He's like, yeah, well, it is what it is. He's like, Thump, I'm having a good time here. He's like, I have a question for you, Rhodey. It's like, it's Luffy. He's like, alrighty then, but do you want to make a deal with me? Do you want to deal with the devil, right? And he surmises that he's a pirate. He wants the chains obviously undone. And he goes, but in exchange, if you let me go, if you find the key and get rid of these chains, I'll eliminate one rival pirate crew of your choosing. I'll wipe the whole crew out. What do you say? Now, this, to anybody else, is what a deal. Because you imagine Big Mom, Kaido, anybody else who had come here, Blackbeard could immediately say, I'll let you go, eliminate the red-haired pirates. Blackbeard would immediately ask for red hair because Blackbeard's a coward. He won't even fight a 90 goddamn year old man who's halfway to death's door just because he whipped out a sword and said, bitch, I got better hockey than you. Like, this man runs away every time. He is not a frontline fighter. He is a coward. And the thing is, that makes him a well-written villain because he thinks up here. He's using a little bit of the gray matter up here. And he's like, no, I'm not arrogant enough to think I'm the strongest. I know that even if I win this battle, I might lose, and I also might get my shit kicked. So you know what? No. So Blackbeard would 100% take this deal. Probably eliminate the red hair pirates as his number one crew. Now, and Kaido and Big Mom would probably do a similar thing. Would they try to eliminate each other? Maybe, right? Depends on what part of the story they would have done that. Or had this deal been offered when Whitebeard was still alive, I'm sure that, Kaido and Big Mom would have said, get rid of Whitebeard. Eliminate Whitebeard for me, pave the way for me, you know what I mean? So, this idea, this context of I'll eliminate one pirate crew, I believe that Loki, while probably not able to defeat, because I still believe that Shanks was the one to help lock him up in the first place, and Shanks has likely only gotten stronger. Outside of a couple of the top tier crews, Loki probably could eliminate just about any pirate crew. New generation besides the Straw Hats, but once again, we don't know his Devil Fruit. I do feel he could eliminate just about anybody outside of Yonko level crews. Outside of the Yonko crews and the Cross Guild, which technically the Cross Guild is a Yonko crew, so yeah, outside of that, and honestly, I don't even know, well, technically Blackbeard might be a problem, but that's the one I would give it to. Either way, this idea of, hey, here's the deal. You must have rivals on the sea. You must have people wherever you're going or constantly are battling with you. I mean, that's what pirate crews do. They all have rivals, right? Every pirate crew in this story has rivals. So Loki's offer is, I'll get rid of that thorn in your side. You won't have to deal with that anymore, and then you are smooth sailing, my guy. Right? So, all right. Like Loki trying to barter. Loki trying to bargain. And I like this. And he's like, I won't force you and stuff. And Luffy doesn't even seem to be listening. Now, this is where, of course, the rustling of the trees and likely that shout of, hey, I'm talking to you sort of idea. Listen to when I speak, human. That awoke a lot of the animals here in the underworld of Elbaf. And we see them that this place is more of a prison and an execution yard. We see these monsters or these giant mammals come out of nowhere. We see a giant elephant. We see some type of snake thingy, a gorilla, mountain gorilla thing, a giant polar bear, and all these things. And it's just like, wow. It's like, I don't know what to tell you, but be wary of these strong wild beasts. A great and deadly sentinel prowls each and every mountain in this land. They are all friends of mine. However, you might be, beside yourself and stuff. And Luffy's like, this takes me back. Wonder how old man Rayleigh's doing. He doesn't say that, but that's like, yeah, I remember training with big ass animals and stuff. And of course, he has. This is not Conqueror's Hockey because he's not subduing them. This is the voice of all things activating without issue. Because Loki thinks that, okay, these animals will attack this small, little, insignificant pirate. If you don't do as I say, they may not take kindly to it, little human, and stuff. And he talks on, and we do see a bunch of humans with swords and stuff dressed in, garb, like it looks like almost a plague doctor mask and stuff like that. It's like, should we rob them, boss? Like, what should we do and stuff? Like, we're barely surviving down here and all this stuff. And he even mentions, around here, you don't expect, we don't want to get knocked around unconscious like the last time. And they mention, around here, you don't expect to run into red-haired shanks of all people. Now, here's where we're going to theory craft. But right before, I told you guys the middle of the review roughly. This is where I would like to take just a quick moment of silence. Only going to be a short minute for all the veterans here on Remembrance Day. Thank you. Alright, so I know most of you would have skipped that anyways. But either way, for those who stayed through the full minute, thank you very much. But yeah, so there's two avenues to this particular idea. Is that A, these are the kid pirates, and they just recently got destroyed by Shanks in Elbaf, and they washed ashore, and here they are, right? And of course, they're in the underworld. However, there's also the possibility that last time, which once again, because Loki remarks as though he has met Shanks and goes, he says that coward of a pirate came here. He certainly did. And that's when Luffy, of course, attacks him, but we'll get to that. But it's sort of implied it could be one of two things. Either after the Kid Pirates were annihilated by Shanks, Shanks came down here and talked to Loki. And the 6 years about him being chained up and 6 years ago Shanks became an emperor is pure coincidence. However, that there is the possibility that it was just Shanks then did show up, did talk to Loki, and refused to let him go or something like that, whether they had history or not. But he was here, and these people are remnants of the Kid Pirates. Or these people have been here for 6 years, as this is an execution ground and stuff, and Loki wasn't the first inhabitant. They just chained him up here. And over time, Shanks did come here 6 years ago. And they were all knocked unconscious. Now, there's also a third option where Shanks was here 6 years ago, did aid in the defeat of Loki 6 years ago the first time, how he became a Yonko, but has since, when he defeated the Kid Pirates, these members of Loki's little band are not members of the Kid Pirates, but he did go down here to speak with Loki just, last week sort of idea, right? But Loki already had prior dealings with him 6 years ago. So those are the three options I'm seeing. In all honesty, when I first read the chapter, I was there saying, oh no, this isn't the Kid Pirates, this all happened 6 years ago, it all matches up beautifully. But the idea of, we don't want to get knocked unconscious like the last time. Around here, you don't expect to run into red hair. Once again, if Loki was the one to be chained up by Shanks in the first place, and that was 6 years ago, why would these people have been following Loki and been knocked unconscious in the first place? So that makes me lean towards theories 1 and 3 more than theory 2. However, there is a fourth option, that these people were under Loki's tutelage or under his command already 6 years ago, and they were all thrown into this hellscape 6 years ago. And they've been there ever since, as Loki has been chained to this tree for 6 years. These are his subordinates from 6 years ago. And the last time they were there, Shanks did knock them all out with Conqueror's Hockey. So really we have 4 options. The fourth one, the least likely, I would argue, but is what it is, right? So then we move on from here, and we see that, of course, Luffy, with the voice of all things, has completely tamed all of the animals in the underground. It's like, yeah, no, they're not going to hurt Luffy whatsoever. It's like, yeah, it's all good. Loki is shocked by this, not recognizing that he's got the voice of all things, and Luffy immediately says, hey, big guy, Shanks really come here? You know Shanks? You know what I mean? And then Loki uses this knowledge and tries to promote a reaction. Or not promote one, provoke one would be the better word. And provoke he does, because he says, you mean that coward of a pirate? He certainly did. Gear forth, Kong gun right into the rock bed, trying to take off one of Loki's horns, right out of the gate. He slams his fist right in there. He's like, slam. Loki's like, oh shit. Everyone's like, whoa, take it easy, only joking. And he's like, what? And he's like, do not say that. That's not a joke. Do not joke about Shanks in front of me, sort of idea, right? And this is right in line with Luffy's character, that bad-mouthing Shanks. Remember, Luffy was the one to stand up for Shanks back in the very beginning of the series. He will not take bad-mouthing Shanks from anyone. That's well within his character. Now, I did see a post where somebody was arguing this is outside of his character. He learned from Shanks, and Zoro and the whole Zoro and Luffy thing with Bellamy. He already did this. You got to let that shit shrug off. This is a totally different situation. It's completely different. Bad-mouthing me. Once again, what did Shanks... And I think that they missed the entire point. What did Shanks say? You can pour drinks on me. You can kick me. You can do whatever. Like, I don't care. I'll shake it off. But if you hurt or insult a friend of mine, then it's... And once again, the crew counts as an entity. So Zoro and Luffy and Nami all count as one unit here. In that time, back in the pre-time skip with the Bellamy crew. Here, once again, Shanks is not here to defend himself. And Luffy will not take bad-mouthing to a friend of his. Right? So there you go. It's well within his character. Loki says it was just a joke. He's like, I can't defend myself. What do you think you were doing and stuff? And the instant I get these chains off, I'm going to kill him. And stuff like that. Is what he thinks. The instant I get these chains off. Like, what are you talking about? And stuff like that. And Luffy said, you better not make me mad. Next time you say something like that, I'll embed you. I'll push you right into the damn tree, right? And so Loki and him are arguing. And this is where Luffy says, so why was Shanks here? Why would he come and see you? That couldn't have been why he was here. Is he actually... Wait, is he still in Elbaf? Like, because Luffy's now fidgeting with his helmet, which, of course, he's got his straw hat. He's like, wait, Shanks is here? Well, I don't know. Like, he's not saying it, but he's like, am I ready for this? Am I, like, is it time for the... I became a pirate. I'm a Yonko. Like, Luffy's actually probably thinking a mile a minute right now, more than he's thought in a very long time. All at once going to, is now the time, do I give the straw hat back and stuff like that? And he's blushing and he doesn't know. Like, he's asking a million questions and stuff, right? So Loki, of course, is utilizing that and then, well, you want answers. Let's make a deal sort of idea, right? And then we jump away from that for the rest of the chapter. So as I said, we move on to the rest of the chapter, which in all honesty for me, that was all the major stuff. That, like, the first 2/3 of the chapter had all the major big things that went on. Things to theorize, things to discuss, etc. Because when we jump back to the rest of the crew, they're following the fact that Rhodes is being chased out of his castle and stuff like that. They're like, we need to make it to the Elbaf village. We need to get here right away, all that stuff. We also see Hirudin, the captain of the new giant warrior pirates. He's there cheering. It's like, we cut down this giant moose, and we're going to bring it here because the Straw Hats. So Dorian Broggy, of course, once again, they, from all intents and purposes, the Giants know the Straw Hats are on their way, and they're like, yar! We need to have a feast for, Emperor Luffy and stuff like that. And he's just like, I can't wait to see the look on Straw Hat's face. He's going to be so impressed by us, because they're self-proclaimed, the whole idea of he feels a debt of gratitude for the whole back and dress Rosa with the Doflamingo thing and all that stuff. And they're just, it's all good. And his shipwright, Stanson, is there with them. They kill this thing. They're like, heave-ho, we got to get this thing home. Oh, my God, this thing weighs a ton. But they're like, yep, we got this. We are the mighty. We are the giants. We are the giant warrior pirates, and stuff. They're just super happy to be a part of it. We get a quick rundown, once again, of the new giant warrior pirates, part of the self-proclaimed Straw Hat fleet, of course, but Hirudin is a man of honor. He's a giant of honor, so, of course, he has pledged everything. And other than Rhodes, everyone else is totally on board with, following an Emperor of the Sea, right? So then we jump away to the final part. Well, it's kind of a two for one. We jump away, and Brooke has now become not just the musician, but the hairdresser of the crew, and gets Robin back her bangs, her original look when we first encountered her. Now, a lot of people like this. I think without the cowboy hat, I'm like, Frankie, would you put the cowboy hat on? We need the cowboy hat back. Like, if you're going to give her the bangs back, I want the cowboy hat back too. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping a cowboy hat is here in the future. Because I will agree, it was a good look. Bangs, generally speaking, don't look that great on women or men, no matter how good looking they are. Generally speaking, haircuts without bangs, they look better. Robin does look good with bangs, but the cowboy hat and her outfit sold it in Alabasta and stuff, right? And later on in Skypiea and stuff, when she was still wearing it. So I would argue, yeah, this is all fine and dandy, but, and a lot of Robin fans are going to be super happy about this. We have a few jokes with Brooke, of course. It's a skull joke. And she's got her haircut back. So, of course, she's doing this to meet Saul, because this is the haircut she had when she last saw Saul. So it's all good and stuff like that. She wants to be recognizable. She wants to, meet with Saul and be like, it's me, Robin. I thought you were dead, sort of idea, right? Then this is where immediately we get a big trouble, apparently, on Elbaf proper, and said that Dr. Saul has fallen and won't get up. Now, this translation says Dr. Saul. I don't remember Saul being a doctor, but is this a new piece of information, or is that a mistranslation issue? Number 2 is he's fallen and he won't get up. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. He's fallen and he won't get up. And I'm just like, oh, we're not really doing a nursery rhyme thing for something so, and Oda will not do this, okay? Okay? There is no way, because I don't think there's any way to write yourself out of a hole if you literally, after, I want to say longer than a decade, bring a character thought to be dead, integral to a main character's backstory, you bring them back from the dead, which, by the way, they did the Wano thing literally last arc. Well, there was Egghead, but whatever. In the actual big arc, they did the whole thing that Clover's not coming back, my mom's not coming back, and Saul, they're all dead. You can't use that. It sucks that they're dead, and I'll miss them terribly, but they're all dead, and I have to accept that fact. We had that great character moment, and boom, you say, no, guess what? Saul's alive. And it's like, while we're happy for Robin as a character, it's, I would argue, not the best writing choice to do so, right? To bring back dead characters thought to be long dead just because, right? But if we're going to do it, and they're about to meet up, the last thing you do is then tear them apart again. So, once again, though it ends on this cliffhanger that Saul has fallen, I am going to go out on a limb here and say that Saul and Robin are still going to meet up. I doubt Oda would do that, because now you're not doubling down on the tragedy. You're just dramatic writing for the sake of drama, and it's so transparent that I don't think Oda's going to do that. I think we left on an odd cliffhanger. I don't think it's anything to worry about truly. Robin is still going to go to the village. She's still 5 seconds away, and she's going to see Saul. And Saul's going to see her. It's going to be all good. Oda's not going to bring a character back after over 10 years. Very so important and memorable for Robin. Just to say, hey, guess what? Dangling in front of you, snatched away again, Too bad, so sad. Because A, that's just not great writing, and B, that's just mean. What is the purpose of that other than, once again, this is not Gege who hates Gojo and makes him lose just because reasons, From what we understand, Oda does not hate Robin. So, there would be no reason to do this to her, So yeah, I think that the end of the chapter, while seeming devastating right now, isn't nearly as bad as we're going to be led to believe later on. But anyways, that's it from me, ladies and gentlemen. I know it was a longer review. Thank you if you stayed through the whole thing. Thank you if you participated in the moment of silence, or at least didn't skip the video for it. Once again, because they certainly didn't, the veterans of, pick a war, certainly didn't skip out on a minute trying to save us and our way of life. So, it's the least we can do. I can give up 1 minute out of 365 days. I can give up 1 minute. So, because they gave up a lot more. That's for sure. So, thank you guys on this Remembrance Day here. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always. And we'll see you all back here next time for chapter 1132. Hopefully we get some answers as to what's going on with Saul. And is he a real doctor? Or does he just play one on TV? Is he like Dr. Pepper? Is he a real doctor? These are the questions that I have. Forget all the Loki and Shank stuff. Is Dr. Saul a real doctor? That's what we got to ask ourselves. So, anyways, have a good one, everyone. Sayonara.